right. So I'm going to use my phone with a set of questions. Usually I have a sheet of paper. I apologize if I look like I'm on my phone here. So just sponsors, I'd like to say thank you to aesthetic.asia or Aesthetic SEA for always helping us out. And if you use code bjjlifestyle, you'll get 10% off any of the goods on the website, except from the legacy gi. And we actually supply gis in Thailand now for aesthetic. And thank you again to our other friends at Staline.food. We'll have an affiliate code out very soon, and you'll be able to get 10% off any of their supplements and their protein drinks as well. So thank you. So we're up in Chiang Rai, and I'm going to do an interview with Adam Clarke, who's basically the head of GF Team Thailand, and their gym's based in Chiang Rai. They've got this amazing facility here. They just finished a training session, met some of the girl athletes, and I'm just going to ask Adam some questions. So thanks for having us here.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So what initially got you into BJJ?
What got me interested in it was I'd done martial arts when I was 7. I was judo. I think I started at 5. Mm-hmm. By 8, I was a blue belt, and then I'm from Canada, so I dropped the judo, went into ice hockey, which is kind of like fighting anyway. But I started to get back into kind of martial arts when I was 20. I did some taekwondo and Muay Thai, but really what got me into BJJ was my daughter at the time. She was about 12, 13 years old, and we were going to send her off to Canada to school. Yeah. And what happened was we decided, okay, let's teach her some self-defense, which is the best one. Mm-hmm. And so we put her in, this was in Hong Kong, mm-hmm. So we put her in a Jiu-Jitsu class with Thomas Fan. You may know of him. Mm-hmm. He's also, I guess a 4 or 5 straight black belt now, but also he was a UFC referee, mm-hmm. Out of Hong Kong. And so she started it, and he said, it's best if there's she has a partner. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into it. Mm-hmm. And, I remember the first days I had bruises all down my arm, because everyone's grabbing there, right? Yeah. And then, but I really enjoyed it. And then I started taking lessons 3-4 times a week. And then, I got to a point where, when I was doing in between jobs and things like that, I was going twice a day for 5 times a week, so 10 times a week. And this was in Hong mm-hmm. Kong. And I've trained also in New York for 4 months, and with Sholan Robero. And also in California and San Jose, stuff like that. But mostly of it's been in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. And then with GFT Team. And then I moved to Thailand. My wife is Thai, in 2015 in Chiang Rai. Mm-hmm. And as you've noticed in this town, not much going on, right? So I wanted to keep up with my jiu-jitsu, so I opened a gym, and it's kind of transformed from that. Yeah. So how and when did you receive your black belt? I received my black belt probably March 2017. Mm-hmm. So, that's been over 6 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And may we ask what your line of work is? Well, this is jiu-jitsu for me is a hobby. Mm-hmm. My line of work is I'm the co-CEO and CFO of a cybersecurity company. Mm-hmm. So we deal in threat intelligence, mm-hmm. stuff like this for enterprise companies mm-hmm. like law enforcement and mm-hmm. international banks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm not a tech guy. I'm more of a numbers guy. Right, okay. I'll leave that to the other guys. Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you wanted to continue your journey here, so you decided to build a gym here, but what was the process like? Well, the process is you start at another facility mm-hmm. that you rent, and then you go, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, it should be like this, and you check out a lot of other gyms that you trained at, and then you kind of come to a situation where you kind of figure it out. Mm-hmm. So, the issue in Chiang Rai is we have weather issues. Mm-hmm. In the hot season, it's really hot, mm-hmm. plus 40. So what we wanted was, high roof and stuff. So we can't afford to air condition this mm-hmm. place. There's just not enough students here to pay for it. So we wanted high ceilings, and then, you know, a big open mat. It kind of frustrated me a lot, like when you go to some very good gyms and the mats are so small, there's no, you know, people are sparring and they're like, they got 2 square meters and there's 2 guys sparring there. You know, that's not how it is, right? So I decided, okay, what we'll do is no pillars in here, design it in a way that they have good airflow, and also where we have the facilities for the proper change rooms, and also like laundry to do all the gis, and also build an apartment on the top for guest instructors. So that's how I come up with this design. I have other designs in my head. Plus we have the weight thing around the corner.
The weight area.
Yeah, the weight area. So, I mean, it's, you know, for Chiang Rai, this is a perfect size. Our class sizes are, you know, range from 10 to 25 people. We never really get more than that, except when we have like a special event thing going on. But, you know, it's enough space for people to really, you know, especially when they're sparring, do it from a stand-up position. You know, often gyms, you have to start sitting on the ground because there's no space.
Yeah, it kind of frustrates me when I see. I think I started in the gym like that, where you just started from your knees, basically. You know, it's not it's not really how it begins.
It's not
really.
how it starts. You know, but anyway, it is what it is. So you know, I guess what I started to do, which you know, because we're also in kind of a charity gym. You know, we don't make any money, that's for sure. Like Chiang Rai would be hard to make money, but at least 50 to 60% of our students don't pay anything because they come from like special homes or schools, or they just poor, or they're foster children, something like that. So, you know, for me, so I kind of bankroll it myself, which is okay. I have a job. My daughter is a young woman, lives in California and works, so I don't have to look after her. You know, what we try to do here is, you know, as you saw today when we went to the schools and things, and you're listening to James, right? A lot of the kids that live in Northern Thailand who are underprivileged, they're hill tribe, or something's gone on in their life, right? And what we try to instill in them is that they can be a winner, right? So to be a winner and to achieve something, you have to do it. And so, you know, you go to win medals. You go to a competition. We don't care which one it is, right? But, you know, even if they come in 3rd place or something, or, you know, the 3rd, 4th place thing where they get a medal. And for a lot of these kids, this is their first time in their life, right? You know, the schools in this part don't have sport activities, really. They have schools that have got like 2,000 students, and, you know, they have no sports activities. And, you know, the kids don't do anything. So we give them, you know, they can train for free. We'll set them up with gis and everything. So we have a lot of donations, especially as you saw the ones from Fama, which was really, really helpful. You know, they have stuff like that. You know, they've been very helpful, you know, pre-COVID, but, you know, since then things change, right? But, and then like the mats are donated to us, like from Fight Pro, which has been really good. And the mats in this gym were donated by a friend of mine in Hong Kong, like he paid for them. So we do a lot of that type of stuff, and it really helps to reduce the cost, right? But, you know, so the gym itself is, it's a competitive gym. You know, we don't mind if people want to not go to competition, but what we do demand is that they train. So if you're going to come here and train once a week or twice a month, like, no thanks, because all you're doing is slowing the class down, right? So you can see today when they're training is like they're into it, right? And the minimum standard we put in is 3 times a week, and when it starts getting near a competition, they'll come 5 times a week.
some of the most loudest and competitive kids you have coming down the Siam Cup.
I'm probably the loudest coach, right? Yeah, I've won a couple of trophies, which are, I think, the loudest coach trophy. But the Siam Cup is great because it's all friends. Yeah, and it's like, especially me with Taco and all that, arguing over points and stuff. It's all good. I think the first time they came, they looked at me and go, "Holy crap, who is this guy?" But then, they realize I'm just joking around, right?
So
it's all really good fun, and it's been very helpful for the Siam Cup to help our kids, though, to help out with the admission costs to the tournament and stuff like that, and it's the same with Dot at with the national team. Like, he helps us when the Jiu-Jitsu Association of Thailand, they realize, from up here, we have to put the travel in and stuff, so we will make the effort, but, every bit helps.
Yeah.
So we're really grateful for that. And actually, the BJJLifestyle Asia, shirts that you gave us, the kids love them, right? Yeah. So we even take secondhand ones or rejects. We'll take anything.
We'll send as much as we can. Yeah.
But you see what is going on there, right? So like at the school we went to this afternoon, they come and they don't even have, the girls have a proper shirt, right? So we gotta get it for them because when they get down and stuff, the shirt drops and stuff. It's sort of okay, get them sorted out. But we just don't, they share stuff. That's how it is. So I've had a lot of help from people like George Nito, who's now in Indonesia. He helped a lot with me for quite a few years. But I think being here, it's a bit frustrating for him because there's not so many people. I think down now in Jakarta, he's got huge classes and stuff. So that this is what he wants, right?
Yeah, he's a little bit older as well, so I guess he felt like he wanted kind of to grow something. And like you said, quite a lot of the younger kids, especially the males, once they get to a certain age, they kind of discover girls drinking, all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, especially here, we do not have any adult Thai males here or females. It's once they finish university, they're gone. Yeah. It's so our gym is really focused on kids to youth, and we also have that affiliate with Mafalawang University, and you had some of those students here today, which is really good. But they're only there for 4 years, right? And then they get jobs and they move on and stuff like that. It's very different in Hong Kong. Was everybody was working in a professional. They had kids, but there was more adults than there were kids. Here, they're the adults here are mostly Farang and just a few of them. So I had to change my the objective of the gym for that. So the objective has become to help these kids get to a certain level so that they are either confident in their life, but if they even go further, that they can get scholarships to university, and then that really helps plant them, because when they go to university, they're going to continue for another 4 years. By that time, they've been doing jiu-jitsu, I don't know, 12, 13 years, right? 5 times a week. They're at black belt level by then, that's for sure.
And it's definitely instills kind of jiu-jitsu being a meritocracy, just if you work hard, you're going to get somewhere, basically.
I mean, we've had, quite a few students about that. As today at the school we went, and James said to Noon, Gip, and Fa that his kids look up to them because they're successful. That's the first time they've heard that, and looking at the girls, they were kind of in shock, oh, really? So it's a good process in which to help people, right? We've had some of the kids come in and it's really sad that, you know, they drop out, but they also drop out of the homes and the support groups that they are. You know, they start working in, you know, they're girls working in bars at 16, you know, it's a one-way trip, right? So, you know, and it also, John, who you met here, he you know, he fosters, I guess, 6-8 kids, and he runs SWAT Ministries, which helps rescue children, right, from bad situations. And, you know, it's a lot of heartache. And, you know, every kid has a story, right? But, you know, when you're dealing with it, is like, you know, and you hear some of them, and you just go like, oh my God, right? You know, but, you know, the idea is to help them put that in their past, and for them to understand that if they work hard and stuff, they can achieve something. So they can achieve a belt color, or they can achieve success in competition, right? And both of those are some form of success. And they also learn, particularly for the girls, a form of self-defense. Like you know, like those girls like Noonan, that like, I pity the guy that wants to put a hand on them, right? You know, because they'll end up getting hurt pretty bad. Yeah.
And they're all in was it a Dutch charity facility, right?
Yeah, they're a facility just for girls' homes. There's 33 girls there that age 5 up to like, you know, 18, 19. A lot of them missed a couple of years of school. So that's that facility. And then the other one we went to is the school. And that's much, much larger. I think they had 80 kids in the dorm, right? I was a bit shocked to hear it went from 140 to 80, but you know, with Burma going on and COVID, so
they can't come back down, basically.
Yeah, they can't get back into Thailand. You know, and they're talking like a year's fee for
$150.
$150 US dollars for 3 meals a day, school, and accommodation. You know, that sounds pretty good, right? If I ever run out of money, I know where I'll go. But you know, it's pretty basic, right? And then we also once a week up in Mae Sai on the border with Burma, there's an orphanage there where both you know, we have volunteers from Brazil, Beatrice and John. They go up there and help as well. That's another thing that George helped put together. And it's run by some Brazilians as well. So, you know, Brazilians have been very helpful to us. Yeah. And so is, you know, GFT as well. They've been providing us with a lot of like high caliber black belt level teachers, right? You know, for a couple of the cases is the first time they ever left Brazil. Right. You know, they don't know English, and after a year or two here, they're speaking English very well, and that actually helps them get jobs like in Singapore or UAE. Well, one guy went off to become work with the in Qatar with the commandos, so he helps the armed forces and stuff. You know, they learned all their English here, so. You know, because it's either English or Thai, and we purposely make the gym English gym. We don't do anything in Thai, although everybody is basically Thai, because we want them to learn English. And so when you hear Noon and those girls speaking, you know, they're very shy to speak in front of you, but when they are yapping away in English, some of it's, you know, quite good actually. Yeah.
I mean, you're doing quite a lot of work here already, but you told us like this is just the surface level, isn't it? At least there's like way more that like.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, there's another home which is nearby with 40 girls, but they don't want to send the students here, right? And where I live down the road, apparently, like I know where it is, but I've never gone to see it. There's a state-run facility for girls, and it's got I think it's like 400 girls in there, and it's all over the place, right? And especially here with the Hill Tribe kids, you know, because, you know, it's hard for them to be citizens. Like some of them we have people in this gym that were born in Thailand, but the parents came across as Burmese. And because the parents didn't take the child down to Chiang Rai to register them when they were young, they're now basically stateless.
Yeah.
They're not Thai, they're not Burmese, right? They're kind of and there's tons of kids like that. So it's, there's 1 million people in Chiang Rai, right? And there's a lot of like hill tribe people, et cetera, and et cetera. But you go to other provinces like Nan and Chiang Mai, it's the same thing, right? And, there's, if you look at the statistics, there's some like, 2 to 4 million children in Thailand that are that need help of some form, right? And so, I started this, and then I started to speak with Achilles, and that kind of kicked off his, Fight for the Future Foundation. So I help him, because I also have a full-time job. I help him with some of the marketing material and thoughts on it. But he's taken the reins and tried to push it forward. And hopefully he's starting to line up a lot of good sponsors. So, the idea essentially is that, that will be used as the foundation to channel money into jiu-jitsu gyms and other types like, Muay Thai gyms or whatever it is to help the kids have something to do, right? Yeah. But it's also then creates a lot of jobs for, like as you saw today, like I don't really teach the technique anymore. I just have the girls do it, like they're purple belts. But basically what I'm doing is teaching them to be teachers.
Exactly.
So they can actually go do it themselves, right? Because if we don't do that, we can't rely on the foreigners to keep doing it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, we kind of make it fun and, you can see them make mistakes and stuff. And you just correct it.
Well, it's better they make mistakes here before they go home.
Yeah. Teach them all the wrong way of doing it, right? But I find that, my jiu-jitsu, when I started to teach, like I didn't really know how to teach properly, but, I actually started to watch a lot of like YouTube videos on it, like the way that people explain things. Like I know how to do it, but the way they explain it and then the steps. So that was very helpful. And, and absolutely today you were explaining, and it's the step by step. And, I think it actually helps you become a better jiu-jitsu practitioner.
I agree. I started doing that in March when I was purple belt, still living in Myanmar. I started teaching. The highest belt there basically left for Singapore. He was Danish. I think he was Danish, and by default, I was the highest belt left, basically.
What was his name, though?
I can't remember now.
Big Danish guy, right?
Big Danish brown belt, and then there's a black belt. Yeah,
I know who it is. Yeah.
I can't remember his name for the life of me.
He used to train with us with Taki in Hong Kong.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But by default, basically, the only jiu-jitsu gym there at the time, basically, the guy that ran the gym was just like, do you mind teaching jiu-jitsu a few times a week? So we would like maybe have 3 classes a week and then 1 open mat, basically, or 2 open mats and then 3 teaching classes a week. And by default, it gave me chance to just get the reps in over and over again.
Yeah. And then also you start to look at it, and then you take your students to a competition and then you watch them and you see them make mistakes, right? And I used to blame them for making a mistake, but then I realized I'm not teaching them properly, right? Maybe I'm not teaching them how to do it properly and instilling and doing the proper type of training in the gym to ensure that they do it properly, right? So, and the other thing that I learned from that was, when you're taking your students and taking them to competition is you see where the other students are, right? And you go, oh, okay. So now they're all focusing on Daliva. Okay. Now I spend the next month and a half how to smash Daliva, right? So the next competition comes around and like it doesn't work anymore, right? So, but it's like that, right? And that helps a lot. So to me the biggest thing for myself was was when Noon and Bam we took them to Abu Dhabi in last November, sorry. And Noon came second in the 49 kilogram and Bam at 55. The they're fighting way above their weight levels, but I was really proud of them because, they were just like cleaning up on most people. But when it got to the end, like Bam fought this lady from Georgia, which was like this much taller.
Yeah.
It was like, and she actually hurt Bam, right? And the funny thing was like such good sportsmanship. The lady from Georgia, so she saw Bam limping. She actually picked her up and carried her out of the arena into the. I was going like, this girl's strong. I know Bam, like she weighed in at 55. She's probably like 58 kilos, like carrying her out. And in noon, she made a mistake, which was unfortunate because she fought a Russian girl, and she I couldn't believe what she did, but she did it. And I think if she'd done it the proper technique there, she might have had a good chance to get first place. But that's where we learn. But it showed me that the not just that the students at the gym here are at the right caliber, right? If you're coming second, fourth, let's say even top 10 in the world for a blue belt, you're really a purple belt, right? Because a lot of those blue belts are being like sandbagged, right? And then what it also showed me is that the other kids in Thailand, like especially from your gym and some of the girls down in Phuket that are blue belts, right, are, when they fight with Noon and Bam, they're kind of even, right? So we know that the caliber is up there, right? It's just, now when you're a purple belt, it become very more professional, right? And you get fewer and fewer people. So, it was good that we went there, and I'm happy to see the girls do well, but it also tell me that in Thailand the whole level is rising.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. The problem is that at that championship was it's called the amateur because it's blue belt level only. Purple, brown, and black is what they call professional. But Noon and Bam were the only Thai people, both women and men, in that day. And there's like 500 or 700 competitors, right? And there's only 2 Thais,
What do you think that is? Because I see quite a lot going to competitions, like local ones, helping out, organizing stuff like that as well. And then I do see them taking quite a lot of people to competitions and stuff like that. Is it maybe they're selective on the competitions that they go to?
Well, I think from the national team level, they have to go into the Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, the JJIF, which is not the Abu Dhabi one or the IBJJF, because I believe that's the one that's going to go to the Olympics. It's all national team stuff. So that's the focus. Yep. But I think the problem, my opinion of that is that because of the way it's all split up is that you're not getting the best in the world to be in that. It's mostly like a Asia, Central Asia type of thing, right? With some European things, but U.S. really doesn't have a team, Canada, Brazil, right?
No.
I don't even think Japan really participates in it so much, right?
I spoke to Ishkal about that, and he said the guy that's actually in charge of it, he's never got anything off the ground, basically. Yeah.
And I think the problem with that is that it's jiu-jitsu is gyms, right? And academies, right? It's not national teams, right? So, what's stronger, I'd say, okay, you pick the best national jiu-jitsu team, and then is that better than Atos? No, right?
Yeah.
Or Gordon Ryan's team, right? They just dominate.
Yeah.
So I think personally is the best way for that to happen is you do have a national team, but they go around to the gyms and say, I want that person, this person, and this person, and you participate. Maybe you do a couple of weeks there, or a week or something like that, but that is probably a better way to create if I was to do that in Brazil, right? Like you have a national team, or you can pick the best people from each of the gyms to represent you. That would be far more selective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, even in the Olympics are like that. Like
Yeah.
you go to Olympic ice hockey, right? It's not like everybody comes from one team. They go like, okay, I'll take 2 guys from the Maple Leafs, 1 guy from the Rangers. They just pick the best guys.
Yeah.
Same with basketball, right? And that's your team.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, because every gym has a different style, right? And they learn things different and they go up and down and stuff. But there are, you know, I think 5 gyms that are always in the top 5, right? You know, going to the big competitions and, you know, and they're consistently there, right? And that shows you that, you know, there's it's like from a GFT perspective is, you know, you see that it's not so much in Asia, but, you know, if you go to Brazil or Europe, stuff like GFT it's really serious, right? You know, but those guys are not going to quit being at a GFT gym to join some national team where they can't train with their buddies at GFT, right? So I think there has to be some bit of a change in that, and then you would see the level of the JJIF go up a lot, right? Because the other thing I also noticed was when we went to Abu Dhabi was there were very few Americans. There were quite a few Brazilians, right? But very few Americans, not so many Europeans. It was, okay, there were Brazilians there, but mostly it was Central Asia and Asia. That's what it was represented. And I, you know, it's also difficult for people to go to these places. Like, you know, you go to the Worlds in California. Well, it's not really representative of the world because a lot of the places in the world, like in Asia, they can't get a visa to go to America.
You said
Do you know the hula hoops you have if you're Thai to get a visa? You know, you got to show who's your sponsor. You got to show all this money, and you're not going to be, you know, run off and become an illegal immigrant and all this stuff. And then it costs a lot of money, right? Abu Dhabi was different. It was just $150 for the visa, but they kind of let you in, right? As long as you pay and you have the stuff. But you know, for some Thai people, and like especially in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and that, $150, that's a lot of money just for a visa, right? Then you got to fly over there, get the hotel, you know, and you just hope to God that you don't get knocked out in the first round, right? Because then you go, I just blew all that money for what, right?
Exactly.
You know? I think there should be like a sports visa. Like, I'm going to the Worlds in California. Okay, here you got 5 days. That's it.
Yeah, as
right?
long as they,
and it doesn't cost anything.
Because you have to get your IBJJF card as well, and that costs money each year as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's a difficult thing too. I mean, you're asking, that's $100, I think.
Yeah, something like that as well. I mean, as long as you can show proof that you have that card and you're going to go to the Worlds with your actual registration, you should be able to get quite like a sports visa, like you say.
Yeah, but you know, we're talking here kids who live at a dormitory for $150 a year, and now you got to pay $100 to some IBJJ's thing. The good thing about going to the Worlds at Abu Dhabi was you're supposed to be a member, but it's free. Yeah. Right. What I noticed when you're doing this one we have coming up in February in Bangkok, there was a fee, but it was $10. Yeah. That's affordable. Yeah. But for a lot of people out here, $100 is, they're just going to go, why?
The good thing with them as well is they are trying aggressively to spread around Southeast Asia. And the more it spreads around Southeast Asia, the more points you accumulate, the more chances you have to actually go to the World Championships as well, because you earn your ticket by like competing at these different places. Yeah. But it's still coming up. I mean, Vietnam, there's quite a lot of red tape. We're trying to organize something there. There's going to be one in KL. Yeah. And I think there's going to be one in
Bali. In Singapore.
And Singapore.
And the Philippines.
And the Philippines as well. Yeah. I'm supposed to be going out to all of them, but.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would like to take Noon and Bam to those, right? You know, it's a question of time and money, but exactly. I like the idea of it. It's just, you know,
it's picking which association as well to compete for as well, right?
Yeah. But I think that's you know, those are good ones. But I think the issue in in Asia is that when you do, especially if you're female and you get to purple belt or higher, you know, it's only like
1 or 2 opponents.
Yeah, it's like Japan, and that's it, right? I mean, if you want to go to one that's got quite a few competitors, right?
Especially in Southeast Asia, I'm trying to think right now, like even the registrations for Siam Cup as well, like there's barely anybody in purple belt level for the females basically now.
Yeah.
So then the girls have to bump up to like a higher weight class or a higher level as well.
Yeah, because that's what you know, Noon will do for the AJP coming up. She's, you know, she really should fight at 45, and to do the nogi, she's got to go up to 70, right? So, you know, as a percentage, that's a lot, right? Well, she'll do it, but I mean,
it's like 34%. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a difference, right? You know, and you know the girls are bigger and everything, so you know spider doesn't work, or you know, you know, a lot of techniques don't work. Like you try like X guard on someone who's really big and long, you know, your feet don't go to the other side, so you can take half your techniques and chuck them out the door. But you know, you can run around them and stuff. But you know, I think you know that this is you know, but you know, jiu-jitsu and it's in its infancy. But I also find in Asia is that, you know, again, like it's changing in places like Hong Kong and Singapore, probably Malaysia as well, where the women, you know, in their 20s are doing it, right?
Yeah.
You know, which is encouraging. But in Thailand, it's very few, right? You know, I don't know how many of the girls who are at this, you know, blue belt, purple belt level right now that are competing in the Nawaza, right? You know, they're, you know, because Nawaza doesn't have belts, right? It's just weight, right? In gender, in age, right? So you just go in, but I don't know how many of those when they finish university will just finish, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a shame, right? You know, how many mothers are going to come to this gym to train?
Yeah.
You know, in Thailand, not many, but you go to America or Canada, it's a very different thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they've been around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
The UK is finally actually starting to start putting into school curriculums as well. They're getting a lot more funding as well by the government, so it is growing a lot bigger now in the UK.
Yeah, you go when you go to Abu Dhabi, and because it's like,
I mean, it's mandatory in schools now.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, it's awesome.
It's awesome, and then you go to the, you know, we went to one of the gyms there prior to, like the day before the competition to do some training, and you know, you're seeing the Emirati girls, like, you know, they're not girls, but you know, they're like 19, 20, 21 years old, purple belts. And there's like 10 of them, right? You know, it's really cool, and they fight hard and stuff, and they're good, right? And you know, that's encouraging. I'd like to see that here, right? But you know, what we have to do is just keep promoting it, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So regarding what you do here, is there anything that people can do to actually help out, or is there any like links they can make donations or help?
Well, you know what we need, you know, our gym, you know, you can find it on Facebook. It's CRT Gym, which is Chiang Rai, Thailand gym, right? And you know, what we mostly need are like used gis and stuff like that, and you know, rash guards.
Yeah,
and,
just so
for the girls and the boys, and you know, used shorts and stuff. But you know, when it comes to the size, it's like, you know, kids up to, you know, female size F1, F2, and you know, we don't really need
anything
nothing above like A3, right? You know,
for the Thai average, So probably
there's a couple of guys that need A3, but they're farangs, right?
Yeah. So for the nogi stuff, maybe like extra small, and medium at most,
Yeah, but I would say that, you know, from the best way to donate, like to help us, like with funding, is to go through Achilles Fight for the Future, because it's an actual foundation, so it's all legal, right? Like if you were to give us money, right? Well, who are you giving it to? You'd have to give it to us personally, right? And not to the company, or that would be revenue, right? And you know, it's not taxable and stuff like that. But through the proper foundation, and then they can then direct it in the right way. So right now, what we have is, he has people, some private individuals donating to the foundation, and then the foundation like supports some of the girls that have won jiu-jitsu scholarships for their room and board and living expense. It's only like 6,000 baht a month, so what's that, $200 for room and board and all that. But they're learning to become. They're in the physical education department, so they're learning to become teachers and stuff like that. They really like it, and I think that'll just kind of manifest itself, right, and become bigger. But it's at the beginning. That's the best way, I think, to support us is like financially is through that organization. But we would take anything directly, like used gis and stuff, as you probably will show on the video, et cetera, that, those gis don't just come to the gym. They go off to the school and the orphanage and stuff like that. And, right now it's like girls train and then they take the gi off, give it to the boys because the girls won't wear the boys' gi after they train, right? Which is fair enough.
It's understandable.
It's understandable. So they're all switching, right? It's like, can I borrow your pants and stuff? And then the belts and stuff. Like we just have with the belts we just have a ton of them, right? You just go grab one, right? Because they come and go, right? So what we try to do with that is, every Saturday they come to this gym, but today was Kids Day, right? So they didn't, so they'll train at the school and then come here. Yeah, we really want to get the orphanage up in Mayside to come down, but it's just not feasible, right? So, yeah. So my kind of dream for this place would be, make this kind of like the headquarters, but you could open up a couple other, opportunities at different schools, in different locations in Chiang Rai, say 30 minutes away, so it's not hard for someone to drive out to go. Chiang Rai is kind of interesting because Chiang Rai itself is in the center, right? So if you go 30, if you went 60 minutes in any direction, you're at the border of, Laos, Burma, or Chiang Mai, right? It's not really that far, right? Except if you go a bit south. So there is that, but, I'd like to kind of expand out a bit more, but, I got to do it there has to be a pace to it, right? So, I have to say I'm, thankful for the, Jiu-Jitsu Association of Thailand because they do have a national team and they do support us a lot, and that is really driving a lot of the activity in jiu-jitsu, right? Because a lot of the parents know that their kids can win scholarships and be on a national team, so they promote it a lot. What we have to do is to take the kids that don't have parents and help them through that process, right? It was we had the national team here. I guess it was the females last year for like 5 days because we had a lady by the name of Taish from GFT. And no, she was from Rickson Gracie. She's world champion. I think she's #1 ranked in IBJJF for master or something this year. When the national team ladies found out that the girls come from a home with 30, they were like, "Oh, really?" Right? Like, people don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't want to kind of like advertise it or anything, but it's, so I am grateful, for everybody, including like Dot and the Jiu-Jitsu Association Thailand for supporting us. Like we go down there, they help us with the payment. Like, we're planning now to hopefully take the kids from that school, the dormitory, down to the Thailand Nationals in early, I guess, April. And hopefully we can get like 2 rooms in Rangsit at the top and they can stay there so we don't, like, I can't afford to put 40 kids in a hotel, right? And we can't have them sleep on the street, right?
No.
So one time we went to Chiang Mai, and I asked, can they sleep at the place? And it was a room under a swimming pool, right? It was like, I was like, oh my God, right? But they were from another school here called Sahasat, which we first started at, and the kids didn't mind.
Yep.
The teachers did, though. Kids are like, yeah, whatever, they don't mind, but the teachers did. So, you kind of have to make it half human, right? So, yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.